So, South Korean film and TV. The reason I'm talking about this is because last week it was announced that Train to Busan is getting a sequel. And Train to Busan, which I'm about to talk about soon, is a brilliant film. But outside of the mainstream Hollywood and British cinema, which you're probably accustomed to, there are some great national cinemas out there. Japan, China, they've all got their great stuff. Those are just some of the particular ones that I wanted to point out. But South Korea has really been up in its game recently in the past like 5 years, I want to say, and they've been pulling out some really good stuff. So I want to just give them credit for 5 shows and films that I think you should check out because they're really pretty darn good. The first one is on screen right now, and that's The Age of Shadows. This is a spy slash war film. It's set, I believe, in the 20s. If you've ever seen like a classic Hollywood noir, it's got vibes of that. Cinematography is brilliant, very atmospheric. You can see from the poster, you get the film is like that. It looks like that. Those are the main characters in there. There's lots of twists and turns. You're constantly guessing about who's a spy, who's a good guy, who's a bad guy. And basically it's about occupied South Korea during the war. And really interesting idea. The only negative I've got about the film is that it's a bit like The Lord of the Rings Return of the King in that it doesn't really know when to end. So you keep getting these scenes towards the end of the film that are just like epilogue after epilogue after epilogue. And they're not bad, it does make the film drag a little. And I believe the film is almost 2.5 hours long. So it is a long film to begin with. But yeah, really check this out. There's some great acting, great action, and in the poster there you'll see they're on the train. That's actually probably the best scene in the whole film. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you've ever seen like From Russia with Love, for example, one of the early James Bond films, it's very reminiscent of that. There's a lot of espionage going on, a lot of tension, and it's just a really good film. Check it out. Next up is Train to Busan. I've already talked about it a little. I talked about it a little last week. This is probably one of the greatest zombie movies ever made. It's definitely one of the best in recent years. I would thoroughly, let me try that again. I would thoroughly recommend it if you are into that genre. And this is a film that proves that South Korea can do genre cinema very well. It's not just a typical zombie film, no. It actually does something a little interesting and unique. It feels different from what's came before. There's okay, I'm not sure if you're seeing this, but something has happened to something. I'm not sure if it's recording, I'm not sure if it's streaming. I apologize if it's being interrupted, but I'm going to continue anyway. So, where was I? Train to Busan. It has some big emotional beats, particularly towards the end. There's a moment at the end of the film where it really just gets you right in the heart, and yeah, really well done. Check this out if you like the zombie genre. Next up, this is from the director of Train to Busan. This is Psychokinesis, and again it's a genre movie. This time it's a superhero film, and it's not a superhero film like Marvel or DC. It's not based on a comic book or a graphic novel. It's much more down the Hancock route in that it's an original story with original characters, and it's surprisingly funny. It takes a little farcical, comical approach to the superheroes. It's basically about a guy who gets the power of telekinesis and psychokinesis. He can move things with his mind, but he has to do weird jigs with his body in order to get accurate results. So if you like superhero films but you want something a little different, I recommend you try this out. The story is a little generic. It is a typical superhero story. Okay, something else has happened to OBS. I don't know if this is recording. I don't know how well this is going. Again, I apologize if you're having problems watching this. So I'm going to continue. And next film. Oh yeah, before I go on, Psychokinesis, great special effects as well. I don't think it's a big budget film by any means, but it really does do a good job of tackling a superhero genre on a smaller scale. This is a TV show called Stranger. You can get this on Netflix here in the UK, and When I was watching this, it reminded me a lot of Sherlock. The main character is basically Sherlock Holmes. He's got a weird deductible ability. He's lacks emotion that goes into backstory as to why he is the way he is. But yeah, it's a really good TV show filled with twists and turns. There's a lot of surprises. The characters are really interesting. The story is really intriguing and fascinating. I'd recommend this. It's a crime story. A guy goes and finds someone has been killed, and then he's on that case. Lots of twists and turns, very convoluted. It's hard to give this show a good explanation simply by talking about it. I would recommend you give the first episode a go. And like a lot of South Korean and foreign TV shows, the episodes are like an hour to an hour and a half long, so they are hefty, full-on episodes, almost feature length at times. Final one. This is a bit of a cheat because this is a South Korean Czech Republic co-production, and it's a brilliant film, but it's one that's been mired in a little bit of controversy because outside of the United States and some other countries, you can't get a hold of this film. In the UK, the film has never been released, so I have seen it. It is brilliant. I'm not going to say how I saw it, but if you can somehow get a hold of this, do it, because it's brilliant. It stars Chris Evans. Is it Chris Evans? Yes, Chris Evans. And basically, it's a futuristic, post-apocalyptic science fiction film about the survivors of society living on a train. The people at the back of the train are poor, the people at the front of the train are rich and wealthy and live pretty well off, until the people at the back of the train get pretty annoyed at the conditions they're living in and they decide to revolt. So that's basically what the film's about. The people at the back of the train try to get to the front, and to the guy running things up right at the front in the engine room. So if you want to watch this, I believe you have to go to America. It is available there. It might be on Netflix in America. If you're in the UK, I don't know how you're going to do it. You're going to have to import a foreign copy of this or get it illegally, which I would not advise. I'm not a big supporter of that sort of thing. But you can import an Italian version, I believe, but I don't know if it has English subtitles. Because this is a South Korean film, despite the fact it's got English actors in there, there is a lot of native South Korean language in there as well. I don't think it's just South Korean either. I think there might be some Japanese in there as well. But yeah, really great film, great action scenes, very good use of lighting and atmosphere. As the film progresses, as the main characters get from the rear of the train to the front, it brightens up, much more colourful as it goes on. Really well done. There is a TV show adaptation of it being done, and it's also based on a graphic novel. So if you can't get a hold of the film, try getting a hold of that maybe. And yeah, if you're really annoyed that you might not be able to get a hold of this, blame Harvey Weinstein. It's basically his fault. I'm not going to go into how that is, but basically he wanted the film to be one thing, the director refused, so Harvey Weinstein basically screwed him over. And that's all I've got for this week. Just want to briefly talk about one other thing that happened last night, and that's that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 officially got delayed. Shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, really. This film wasn't going to be released on time, especially since it was meant to go into production early next year. It hasn't got a writer anymore, it hasn't got a director anymore. I don't know if they're still working on James Gunn's script or not, and the actors, that Dave Bautista might not be in the film anymore, I don't know. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, going to be a little while off. And that's it, that's all I've got. I'm going to get into the chat, but I don't think the stream's working. But if you are watching this on Twitch, sorry if you've had some problems. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below. Get involved with the show. Share this across social media. Help me build my audience. Subscribe. That's a must do. I really want your subscription. 100 subscribers gets me a custom URL. Makes it easier to promote and share. And give me a thumbs up. I'm Grant Burton. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _GrantBurton, or you can go to forcedbygrant.wordpress.com for all of my written reviews. This show might be a bit of a mess. I don't know how much of it's recorded, but I'm going to go in and see what there is there, see if I can salvage something. So thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm out.